Hello everybody, it's Emmy. It is December 3rd, 2018. This is the end of my second year of beekeeping. This is going to be the last bee vlog of the year. And today I'm just going to go in and give the bees one more oxalic acid treatment. The hives should all be broodless at this point, and so I'm just going to get rid of any of the last little bits of mites that might be left. I treated them last month in a series of 3 different treatments because there's probably some brood still left in the hives, but at this point they should be entirely broodless. Today is a relatively warm day. We are in the upper 50s and the bees are all out. All the hives are active, which is great. That means they're all still alive. So I'm going to be treating with oxalic acid. This time I'm going to be using oxalic acid vapor. So I'm going to be wearing a respirator, eye protection, and I'm going to make sure I plug up the hive and do that treatment. And then after I treat them, I'm going to be wrapping the hives with a bit of black tar paper that will give them not necessarily insulation, but it will give them an absorptive black layer that on those really cold days, the solar energy from the sun will be absorbed better with that little black bit of tar paper. So last year I did lots of insulation and I found that I got some black mold on the outside of the hive bodies, so I'm not going to do that this year. So Michael Palmer uses tar paper and he lives way up in Vermont, so I figure if it's good enough for Vermont, it's probably good enough here for Rhode Island. Hi chickens! My chickens are coming to greet me. Hi girls! It's a gorgeous day and my chickens have arrived, and yeah, let's get to work. So there is hive number 1. That was my original hive. That has the smallest population. Then I have 2 splits that I made earlier in the season. The second one was made from a queen cell from hive number 1, and the last hive over there has a Rhode Island Grant queen in it, and that is a Minnesota hygienic queen. So yes. Now this hive, my big hive, has the most activity. It has the largest population. It is so great to see all the bees out flying. So when it's really cold, the bees do not go to the bathroom, so they're probably enjoying themselves in the sense that they are relieving themselves. They're using that top entrance as well. So in terms of winterization, I've got a shim in preparation for any winter feeding. I've got an upper entrance, and I've got a bit of rigid insulation under there to reduce any condensation. But no exterior insulation this year. And I've got slatted racks on all these hives. Right where it says Man Lake, that's a slatted rack, and I've got wide open entrances with mouse guards to keep rodents out. Alright, let me give you the breakdown of what I'm going to do with this oxalic acid treatment. So, the bottom boards that I have here are Apame bottom boards. They're plastic and they are ventilated, but they also have a tray on the bottom here, which I found very useful for keeping track of things like small hive beetle. What I've got down here is some diatomaceous earth, and as you can see there's some mites that I killed off with 3 rounds of oxalic acid dribble treatment. And as you can see here, these are the wax crumbs the bees have left from consuming their wax. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to use this bottom board, which has been adapted by John. John, thank you so much for building this for me. And it has a metal tray and a slot in the back here. And what he's done is that allows me to put this, which is a Verox oxalic acid vaporizer. I'll put the oxalic acid in here, insert this into the slot in the back, and use the stopper that he built right there to put in the back. Then I'll slide this whole tray into the bottom here, and then I'll connect the vaporizer via this cord to my battery pack there. And then set the time for 2 minutes, and that will be the 2-minute vaporizing treatment for this hive. I'll do the same for this one and my other one over there as well. All of them have these Apame bottom boards, and I will access them through the back slot right here. Okay, alright, let's get to it. Alright, so it never fails. There's some utility work being done across the way, and pardon the noise. So before I get started on the vaporization treatment, it's very, very important to remember safety. So I'm going to be wearing safety glasses, I'm going to be wearing gloves, I'm also going to be wearing a vaporizer that is graded specifically for organic vapors. Do not do this without a respirator. It is dangerous and not a good idea. Okay, let's do this. Alrighty. So I've got my safety goggles on, I've got my safety gloves on. Now we're going to set this up. We're going to remove the tray here. This has some diatomaceous earth. We're going to remove that. And we're going to replace it with this modified board that John sent me. John, thank you so much. I'm going to put this here. And then we're going to take the Verox vaporizer and insert it through the slot here. And use this little sponge bit to stopper the slot. Now dosage is 2.25 grams, which works out to be about 1 teaspoon. And I've got a 1/4 teaspoon right here. So 4 of those. Basically that fits the entire tray here. That's a dose for 2 hive bodies. Okay. Now I'm going to slide this into here. That. Make sure this is stoppered up. Now I don't have my respirator on yet. I'm not putting any electricity to this because I do not have my respirator on yet. So let me go do that. So I've taped up the top entrance up here. I'm going to close the main entrance. Put my respirator on. Respirator, check. Timer set 3 minutes. I'm just going to fix some tar paper here. Make sure the top entrance is clear. Tack it down with a couple staples. Right. That's it. Just want to make sure the top entrance is clear and the bottom entrance, of course. And that's it. Girls are buttoned up for winter. Now we just got to do the same to that one and that one. Alrighty, so that wraps up December 3rd, 2018. The hives are wrapped and winterized for winter. I did my last oxalic acid treatment. Big thanks to John for providing all this wonderful gear and advice. And I wrapped up the hives with tar paper, so they should be a little bit more cozy. But yeah, that wraps it up for this year. So starting in January and February, I'll probably do a little peek and see how they're doing on food stores, and then it's gonna be quiet till probably March or so, and then it gets kind of crazy. But yeah, thank you guys so much for following me through my bee adventures. Next season, hopefully the bees will be alive this come spring, and we'll come into my 3rd year of beekeeping. It's been a wonderful adventure, and yeah, thank you guys all for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, take care, bye. I just realized I forgot to tell you, number 1 hive and number 2 hive are significantly smaller than my number 3 hive. So number 3 hive I gave a full dose, which was about 2 grams or 1 teaspoon of oxalic acid. And the smaller hives I did a half a dose. So that was a half teaspoon or about 1 gram per hive. So yeah, and the vaporizer and the modified bottom board worked beautifully. John, thanks again for putting those together for me and for sending them to me. And yeah, okay, I'll see you next time. Bye!